Good afternoon. I have an iPhone 6s Plus that I'm going to be changing the screen. It does not work, and so we've got a replacement screen. We're going to put that on there and try it out. This is my father-in-law's phone, and I know ahead of time that it is missing some hardware, so it shouldn't be a problem. We're going to go ahead and take it apart. The first thing you want to do is you have two little set screws down here that hold the screen on. We're going to go ahead and take these out. Utilize this tool, a little special tool for this. Take that out, set that to the side. Now that tool is only used for those two set screws. Now when you want to pull the screen off, you want to pull down at the bottom. It comes off in a hinge and you've got ribbon connectors connecting to the logic board back up here. So you mush that on and you want to create a gap just above the home screen. And you can utilize this little prying tool to get in there and open it up. And the sides just peel away from the phone, like so. See how I've got it in there? Once you peel it away, you can pull this guy off. Now, this is what the inside of the phone looks like. You've got two sections that you want to work on first. First section is right down here. You've got two connectors, and one of them hooks up to the battery. So, get our little screwdriver, and we'll pull this guy off. Okay, now, like I said, you've got two little ribbon connectors right here and right here. This is the one that we want to pull off. It runs along the bottom right here to your battery, right along the edge. Awesome. You can see that. That's all it is. Now that we have the battery disconnected, in case we accidentally hit the power button, it won't turn anything on. So now the area that we want to focus on is up here. And this comes into play where there's a screw missing right here. So let's pull these. Should be 5 screws, but we'll pull these 4 screws out in our situation. Okay, pull our protective cover off. Now we have 3 ribbon cables that we need to take off. 1, 2, and three. Now we have our screen and our logic board disconnected. So we don't need to do anything right now with the logic board, so we can set that to the side. What we want to focus our attention on now is your camera, sensor, and microphone or a speaker assembly, and then down here we want to focus on our home button. So to take the home button off, it's very easy. You have these two screws down here that hold this cover on. Take this screw off. Take that screw off. Take this protective covering off. Now you've got another ribbon connector right here, and it runs to another little tiny circuit right here, and it has two prongs that help hold this circuit in place. So let's disconnect our little circuit, our little ribbon connector. And the thing with these ribbon connectors, you do not want to pry very hard or push down on them when you're reconnecting them. They are extremely fragile, especially when it comes to your hardware that you need to switch over. Your camera, or I mean your screen sensor with the 3D touch and the digitizer, it's not so important. I mean, you don't want to spend extra money on replacing your screen twice, but as long as it's not one of the main ones that you're trying to switch over, for instance, your home button, your microphone, or your speaker, and your logic board ribbon connectors, because those are important. Now, all we have to do is peel it up off of these two little prongs, ensuring that our ribbon connector is still intact, as it is. And then you've got a very thin film that sits on the outside of your home button, right here. And what you want to do is you want to just barely push, so you disconnect your home button. Now you've got the home button disconnected. Now we'll focus up here. So you've got three screws that you need to remove that hold the sensor, the camera, and the speaker in place. You've got another protective covering that holds everything on. Now, in my opinion, this area is the most tricky place to work on as far as changing out a screen, because when you set everything back in, as I'll show you in just a minute, you have to set everything in just right, otherwise these little prongs, where these two little holes are, right here and right here, won't align with everything, and your sensors will be off, your camera will be off. So, where is our... Okay. So this is the assembly right here. There's your speaker. We're going to transfer that over. And let's pull out. Everything in here. there's all of our little sensors with our camera, all right there. And everything basically compresses together and sits on this little ribbon cable that runs to the logic board. So, screen's bad, let's grab a new one. Okay, so we'll start by putting our little plastic connector or cover for our camera. Grab all of our other assembly pieces. Now, if you look and see, right here, there are 4 little sensor or pads, metal pads right there. Those are going to connect, and they need to ensure good connection right there on those 4 prongs. That goes to your speaker. Then you just set everything back in how it was. Now this is the trickiest part that I was telling you about. Trying to ensure that everything is back in properly and will fit properly to ensure good working condition. What I like to do is I like to start with the camera, start working from this side over. And it looks like we lucked out. So now we can take our cover and put our cover back on, with everything in place. Like we still have everything in place. Good. So now we can get our screws. Put our screws back on. And if you notice, we have our 2 little prongs that are barely poking out right here. I don't know if you can see it right there. But that helps us to ensure our alignment is correct. Now we're going to go to our home button. Put our home button back together. And like I said earlier, you still have your there are 2 little prongs at the bottom down here that help hold that bottom circuit board, a little circuit on that ribbon cable down and in place. And make sure that the ribbon connector's on. You should feel a little snap. That's how you know that the ribbon connector's on. And it doesn't take very much force at all to get that on there. So let's get our cover. Make sure the cover's in place. Now, we're ready to put everything back onto the logic board. So, hook up these 3 ribbon connectors again. Okay. And let's take our cover, put our cover back on. What I like to do at this part, when I'm putting the cover back on, to ensure that I do not break any of these ribbon connectors, I tilt the phone down just a little bit. I'm sure this is out of view, but I tilt it down just a little bit so that I can ensure that I get all of my screws on without damaging anything. Okay. Now, we need to go back and connect our battery back up. There was the click. Let's put our cover back on. Now that we have everything connected inside here, just make sure that the top is aligned, the little hinge points are in. Make sure there's no gap right here, just like that. You basically press very easily on opposite sides of the screen, and you'll feel it click down into place, just like that. And we can grab our last couple screws, our set screws for the screen, set them in place, screw them in, and then we'll test it. Alright, now let's test our phone. Give it a second to boot up. Alright, now, to ensure that the screen works properly, just touch buttons. Touch around on the screen, and we'll see, sure enough, it works. Thank you for watching.